everybody. My name, of course, is ScoutAttack123, and I am joined by...
Dead Merc.
And MrJenssen.
And we are going to be doing some E3 talkingness, and as well talk about Rising Storm.
Yes.
That shooter that came out. It's pretty good. We're going to be talking about PC gaming in the console industry and how PC gaming is going to be affected by the new console releases later this year, as well as some E3 discussion where we're going to be talking about like what we want to see and stuff like that. So let's get started. So, Rising Storm, what do you guys think about it?
I love it, to put it lightly.
It's a pretty good game.
Yes. I played Red Orchestra to the previous one, which is also, you can still kind of play both of them off the game, but yeah, I just love it. I love the setting. I think both each team has like a unique feel to it that just makes it kind of different than most shooters that I've played, at least. And it's just hectic, it's just realistic, it's tense, it's just everything about it. I just love it.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be one of my favorite games all year.
I've had some Saving Private Ryan moments while playing that game. Like, you're running across the beach and you see like 4 guys get their heads taken off, and all you hear is this loud ping of their heads just exploding.
There's some genuine moments of terror.
Yeah, it's very, very, very realistic. Well, I wouldn't say realistic, but the sounding, the sounds, and the atmosphere. It's very realistic. What do you say, Johnson?
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course, it's realistic. You have a tripwire making it, but I think there's something about this game that Red Orchestra 2 just completely lacked. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but there's something about it. I think Red Orchestra 2 made me genuinely depressed time and time again when I played it. And not because it was a bad game. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it had terrible amounts of bugs, but even aside from that, the atmosphere was just depressing, Yeah. It was like, I mean, of course they succeeded in, creating
That's what it was like.
Yeah, but it's like, I want to play a game,
Yeah.
I don't want to be depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so especially in a multiplayer, competitive multiplayer game. So I think Rising Storm really, I mean, it is very grim with Rising Storm 2, but it's much more fun to play, and it's and especially playing the Japanese troops when you have those the soundtrack running in the background, the drums and everything. You feel like fuck yeah, bring out the katana, and charge.
Yeah.
Bonsai.
And it actually works sometimes. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times
it's not
in
just
games,
a gimmick.
I would think that would be a gimmick, exactly. But there's been times where people coordinate together. It's like, let's get in there, and it works. I mean, it works. Like, and that it's scary when you're on the American side and they're just charging in after you. It's like, holy shit! Like, I'm just shooting down guys. It's just crazy.
I definitely agree. I've had those moments. Where, like, the bonsai charge, where everyone in the server is just spamming, let's bonsai charge, let's bonsai charge, let's bonsai charge.
I mean, there's definitely some times where it doesn't work, but even then, it's still awesome.
Because when you bonsai charge, it's like a new mechanic to the game. If you get a group together, you're like health buffs, and like
you're faster.
You're faster, and you take a lot more bullets. Basically,
before you go down, you don't stop.
I've had Japanese bonsai me with their bayonets before, and it takes like a whole clip from a M1 just to stop them, and that's for one guy.
Yeah.
But if you have a whole group of them, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And one thing I really love about the game, which I think it's very easy to overlook. I mean, you know it, but you don't really think that much about it. Is how that the teams are asymmetrical. The U.S. troops have like the Japanese have a SMG and bolt action rifles and an MG, and that's pretty much it. but the US have the bar and the
They have more
Thompson.
powerful
Yeah, they have a
weaponry
ton.
in a lot
I
of ways.
mean, even semi-auto rifles, they have 2 of them. The Japanese don't have any. But I mean,
They have
you know that. But
advantages.
it's just it's asymmetrical.
It's just
but it
how it
works
was.
so well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, and
but
you-
it
and
works
you
so well.
kinda
They made it
remind me.
so balanced, and
Yeah.
the Japanese are so competitive, even though they are. I mean, they don't have the flamethrower. They have the
Nope.
knee mortar, which is
Yep,
basically
I
a
was just
nuke
gonna
tube.
say that knee mortar. If you get good with it, I can just
Oh,
rain
yes.
down hell.
Oh,
upon-
I've been hit in the face so many times by that thing. It's so annoying. But I just really appreciate that. Not just Tripwire, but the modders who
Yeah,
started.
because it
this
didn't
thing.
start out as a mod, right? That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
or yeah.
And then Tripwire was like, "Hey, let's take
This
it,
is awesome.
and we'll help you." And it's, yeah, here you go.
That's a great
I do
story.
remember it. It was gonna be like a conversion mod.
And I think it was going to be on Steam Workshop or something.
Yeah,
But
very
they
yeah.
just fucking ran
Well,
with it.
they talked about it already before launch, Tripwire,
Okay.
that they wanted to support, or they already gave out the code for the game to certain mod teams that made mods for Red Orchestra 1, like Mare Nostrum and what's it called, Darkest Hour or something. I don't remember.
I don't
But
Oh, from the first one,
yeah, for the
those
so they
mods were
gave out-
amazing. They were
Yeah,
really
and
well
already
done.
before Red Orchestra 2 launched, they gave out the code to these modders, so they could already start with stuff like this already. And they already said in some interviews that they sort of wanted to. They were considering getting some of those modders on if they felt the project was good, and to pay them, and in return they would be able to sell the game through Tripwire.
Yeah, that's
That's a great story in itself.
yeah.
right there.
The Tripwire's been very nice with modders nowadays. Like I was reading in an article recently. They said when they did release the dev kit to the public that people were worried that they wouldn't be getting a lot of money from it because mods are, majority
Typically not like
free. They're free if you have the original game. But Tripwire is like, we don't care. We care about our community. And it was a
Yeah.
really, really nice article that I read. And I was like,
That's cool.
more companies need to do this,
Yep.
definitely. I definitely
Yeah.
agree. For example,
And s-
like DICE with Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
Battlefield 2, they had the modding community.
Yeah.
Battlefield 3 came out, EA's like, no.
Yeah,
No,
that's gone
no.
forever.
No.
And I understand it.
Yeah.
From a business perspective, because they think
Sure.
basically what they think is that if people can make maps on their own, then why would they buy our maps? But it's bullshit
Yeah.
because time and time
Yep.
again it's been proven that we have mod support and we have DLCs, but people still buy the DLCs even though there
still
are mods out there.
Because
So it's
there is
like-
something to be said for an actual created map from
Yes,
them
yes.
as well. So I think
And-
it could have the best of both worlds, honestly.
And it also pushes the developer to make something unique with those expansions or DLCs that doesn't exist in the main game. Like, for example, with Battlefield 2, the Special Forces expansion had the hook, for example, which was later put into mods as well, like Project Reality. But that was something that wasn't in Battlefield 2, and the only way you could get it was to buy Special Forces, and in those
yeah.
maps you could use it. So you kind of have the developer make new mechanics basically for the game.
And
so
then
you,
the modders adapt to it, I guess
Yeah.
you
Yep.
could say.
Neat.
But I think speaking of modding, a great thing about Rising Storm is that they because Red Orchestra 2 has really struggled because I mean it was fun for a while, but then eventually you get kind of tired, kind of
Yeah.
bored of the maps.
Oh,
They're not
yeah.
that
Same thing
big,
over and over.
and
Definitely.
it took way too long for the game to get Steam Workshop support or any
Yeah.
sort of custom maps weren't really played at all. And
Even to this
I-
day, they're not very
Yeah, yeah.
popular.
even on Steam Workshop. So, but I think it's really good that Rising Storm came with these the support for Steam
Right out of the
Workshop.
box.
Yeah,
to
so
say.
that people can just start making maps while the mod or the expansion, whatever, is still popular. So that because Red Orchestra 2, by the time it got Steam Workshop, it was kind of
I was
dead,
done
so
with it
I don't
way
I don't
before
understand.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
think,
remember when the
others-
news came out.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'll check it out, I guess, quickly
Yeah.
Yeah.
for like 10 minutes, and then I play it. I'm like, Oh, this is so. It feels good, but there's something missing that just
Yeah.
doesn't feel fun.
It's too little, too late in
And,
a lot of ways by that point.
yeah, I just stopped, and then Rising Storm came out, and I was like, is this gonna be interesting? And I got the
Yeah.
beta access, and I played it.
When I
was
saw
like,
the gameplay video, I was like, "Oh my god, I need this in my life right now."
Yeah,
Well,
actually, I saw the early. I was always hyped for it and especially
Yeah.
I actually got very hyped when I heard that it was going to be
It's
standalone.
gonna be, yeah,
Because I was thinking about it like, shit, if they're going to make this an expansion that requires Red Orchestra 2, then nobody's going to buy it because nobody's going to buy Red Orchestra 2 because it's kind of got not bad word of mouth, like, concerning the quality of the game, just that it's dead. So it's like,
Yeah.
why would you bother buying it? Don't buy it.
yeah,
It's dead.
actually,
Nobody's playing it.
the original is more popular on Steam right now than
Yeah, Red Orchestra
the
2.
sequel.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, I guess it's like PlanetSide kind of mentality. Like everybody is like, oh, PlanetSide 2, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
And then
it
everyone
comes
got
out,
into
it's
it,
like,
and
it's
they
not
were
that
like,
bad, but yeah.
it's like meh,
Yeah.
and then they go back to PlanetSide 1.
But of course,
Yeah.
Red Orchestra 2 by this time is like immensely more developed. I mean, they have so many more vehicles, different types of tanks. You have half tracks, you have cars, and the maps are huge. That's actually one thing I'm missing in Red Orchestra 2, and especially in Rising Storm, is
More
just regular
vehicles?
No, just regular conquest maps. Just have a
Okay.
huge map, a big square, and you have A, B, C, D spread out over the map
Okay.
instead of these sort of take A and B, then take C, then take
It
D
reminds
and E.
me of
and so on.
like arming the MCOMs kind of, in like
Yeah,
Battlefield Bad Company
yeah,
or something.
the rush mode. Yeah.
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 And I don't mind that, but I think there should be conquest maps as well, where basically,
maybe they
okay,
can,
we take
put it
D, we hold D, and that's maybe something the modders can do.
Yep.
That'd be nice.
That sounds cool. I would play.
But yeah, we really like the game. If you want
Yes.
to check it out, it's 25% off if you have Red Orchestra. I don't know when it ends. Doesn't it end sometime soon? Not
I'm
sure.
not
Hasn't
sure.
it already ended?
It might have already because I don't know how they're doing that, but it was kind of funny how they just said, "Oh yeah, the game's out tomorrow."
Yeah, yeah.
Before that, it said like summer 2013, and then it's like, you know what? Fuck it. It's pretty
out.
much bugs free.
It's out.
Buy it. It's out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, we really like it. All right, let's move on to our third discussion in the notes. PC gaming versus the PS4 and Xbox One. No, this isn't going to be a fanboy flaming debate.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I'll talk to you guys later. Okay.
Yep. See ya. But it's going to be more of a discussion of how the next generation of consoles is going to affect PC gaming. Because let's admit it, most of the games we get, for example, BioShock Infinite, it was designed for a console. And it looks good on PC, but if they took that to the next generation, it would look 10 times better on a PC.
Yeah.
If you kind of think about it. So the next generation of consoles does affect PC gaming
before
indirectly.
With like the PlayStation 3 specifically, how they had that insanely unique way, the cell processor and all this stuff. Like, you even heard PS3 developers saying this thing sucks to develop for. Like, it's so
Oh, yeah,
different.
it's hard. It's
So
very
man,
hard.
now it's not going to be like that. It's going to be. Sony already said, "Here's what's in our system," pretty much, and
Yeah, it's like
it's basically a
8-core
mid-range PC almost.
It's like an 8-core something
Yep.
processor.
I think the video card's like the equivalent of like 78 something, 7850 or something.
It's like a $200 card.
Yeah.
It's
So
not-
it's like a mid-range.
It's
computer.
not like GTX 670 quality, but it's pretty decent if you were just starting like a basic build.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely a PC architecture, which is very nice because it's going to be easier for developers.
Yeah. Well, I think that excites me because I was actually mostly a console gamer most of my life. I mean, from 3 years old when the Nintendo came out up until the Xbox 360 and PS3. And then, like 4 years ago, I built my own computer, and I'm like, wow, I've been missing out on a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, like I'm almost at the point though where I'm looking at these. I'm like, I don't even know if I want one because I could just get them all on here. I mean, I'm going to be missing out
Yeah,
on
and
a few exclusive
the
games.
exclusives, yeah.
But I might still get one. But also, I don't have the time to play as many games as I used to. So I don't know if it's just not for me anymore or what. You know what I mean? But I think that's still exciting that they're basically PCs in your living room.
Honestly,
yeah, and besides, I mean, now that you are initiated,
Yeah.
now that you know what PCs are capable
the
of,
PC Master Race all the way.
well, no, but it's just a lot of console gamers who, I mean, their main argument is that I want to play games on the couch with a controller.
Yeah,
I don't want to
you
sit
can
in
do that
front,
now.
hunched over my. Exactly, but you could have done it for years. But you
Yeah,
can
sure.
build yourself a media PC, plug it into an HDMI cable on your TV, use an Xbox controller. It's exactly the same controller, and play exactly the same games.
Yeah, I have
just
my
with better graphics. I mean, there might be some more bugs and some things, but it's basically the same deal, except that the PC can do so much more.
Yeah, I have my Xbox controller right here, and I use it for third-person shooter PC games. And I just relax in my chair and just lean back and play them. Like,
I've actually converted a few of my friends over to it because I'm like, man, you guys got to try this. And the same thing they would say is like, oh, it's too difficult and
it's too
like,
expensive.
kind of
I don't know what
expensive,
I'm
but-
doing.
I mean, it can be kind of expensive, and like I mean, I'm a gamer, and I'm kind of obsessive about gaming, so like, I've taken it to a ridiculous level of it. But I mean, I know the two friends that I have that built them. You know, they built pretty dang affordable computers that can play anything.
Yeah, that's what I
Can't play
think.
on Ultra.
Maybe one thing with console gamers, they're intimidated, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I was.
They look at PCs and they're like, "What do I do?" Because
Yeah.
they like you could go on any website like Newegg, for example, and you're like, "What do I buy?" I don't know about core processors. I don't know what I need to get for a
I think
GPU.
they've been making it easier to figure it out, and I think that's something that just overall PC stuff could improve on, is saying, because it really is not that difficult.
You need to do research, basically.
Yeah, it's really not that difficult to put one together, and it's definitely, it's fun too. That's all.
And think about it. I mean, yeah, the PC is more expensive. A lot of the arguments I hear are complete bullshit. Like, you have to upgrade it, the whole thing every year. It's like,
No.
If you, it's like, what? No, I still have a GeForce GTX 560 Ti, and it still runs like. I played Metro Last Light for the review, and I played it on high. I couldn't crank it up on very high because then it got a little slow. But you know, that's a pretty old card, and it wasn't even that great when I bought it. But it still runs fine, and it's been probably at least a year since I bought anything for my PC.
Well, that's the fun thing about like what you just said there, is that, you know, these new consoles are basically at the point of where yours is already at. You know what I mean? So it's like, and you can't upgrade your console anyway. So you know, it's
the
same
the
quality.
piston system apparently you can upgrade. The Steam box or whatever. But even that, I was looking at it.
That is pretty much a PC anyway. I mean, it's a little more locked PC, isn't it?
I was looking at it, and it doesn't look really good.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. $999 for a really low-end gaming PC. They said they were
small PC.
They said it was equivalent to current gen consoles, and once they said that, I was like, no. Like if you fit like I don't know, like a GTX. I'm a NVIDIA guy, so I don't know my AMDs. Sorry, everybody. But if you put like a GTX, I don't know, like a 500 and something in it, that would have been better than the onboard graphics processor. And
I mean, heck, you could even have a 580 nowadays, and you're still going to be able to run everything.
Oh,
you're going to have no problems.
Oh,
Zero.
yeah, definitely. You can run everything. You just can't get every tiny little detail.
Yes.
But
I mean, I think unless you're really lazy and you don't know how to Google things, I mean, the PC is, of course, I am a PC fanboy, so this, you know,
it's biased.
Yes, it's
Well,
biased.
that's why
Very
I
much.
think I know what you mean now, but as before when I just played on my Xbox 360, it was like you didn't know that it was that easy because all you do is
Yeah,
hear about it. You know what I mean? Like that's the only
and
thing
as
I
long
would
as
ever do
you're
is
not
just hear
interested,
about
you
it.
have your games, so
Yep.
it's like whatever.
It's
But
just
think about it
easy.
for hardcore gamers, like people who buy right now. I have Steam tells me I have 282 games in my library.
Nice.
It's not that much because like Call of Duty, each Call of Duty game comes in like two,
Yeah.
single player and multiplayer. So it's
That's
probably at least over 200, but I don't know how many. But basically, when I have that many games, in addition to all the physical games, the games I don't have on Steam and so on, uh, over the years, yeah, maybe you have to upgrade your PC every now and then and stuff like that. But the games you buy, if you are the kind of person who buys a lot of games, you can get so many more games for such a low price on the
Yeah,
PC. I mean, even
exactly.
launch games, you can go on. There's always
There's always
competitive.
deals.
Yeah, there's always competitive stores on the internet that sell games for $20 cheaper than what they cost in retail.
Well,
And for every
I
Xbox
think
game,
it's,
you have to pay $60.
I think it's because digital distribution is just
Yeah.
a lot cheaper
Well,
on the
that's the funny
publisher side.
thing about these
Yep.
new consoles is and that's the thing. Microsoft, I'd like to bring this up for a second, that their press conference was terrible.
I
for
think
hardcore game.
I think the
people.
entire
That's what I-
internet responded
Oh,
with
man.
the water cooler jokes. When I actually heard that girl say the Xbox is going to be the new water cooler, I was like, what?
Like,
What does that even mean?
It's
Well-
not even the water cooler, the new water cooler topic. It's the new water cooler. So, like, what is that? What you're going to lean on now when you talk about other things, or what?
Yeah.
What is it?
it's gonna have
It-
dust
it's-
on it. Nobody cares.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it boggles my mind the conference because it's like who are they directing this toward? You know,
They're trying
because
to
the
get
people,
the
NFL
average
people.
American
Yeah.
dude.
yeah, but think about that. Those kinds of people are not in that fucking hall or whatever they were. There's gamers, there's journalists. Those are the people who are there. They're like, yeah, the next Xbox. It's like TV. Sports.
Yep.
More TV. It's
Well,
like
that's the thing about it that I was even as because I will probably still get a console most likely just to have it, but watching that it was just so disappointing seeing like all they
It
focused
was.
on was TV. All they cared about was
TV.
football. They
TV.
showed Call of Duty. I'm like,
They
I
didn't
don't
even
really
show
care
it.
about
They
that.
showed
that-
it was like an inside the developer
yeah. Oh, that video
dev
was such a
log.
joke. Oh, that was so hilarious to watch. Like, oh, look at the arms from Modern Warfare 3
I know.
in comparison to our new game, and it's like Modern Warfare 3. Look at these arms. They were beautiful at the time. It's like, no, they weren't. They
They
were
were ugly.
shitty. Yeah, they were 1990 style graphics, and of
I wouldn't
course
go
that's
that
because
far.
the engine.
But they
Well,
were
the
all-
engine is from like the late
Yeah.
1990s.
Yeah.
So
it's
it's like
the Quake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
a heavily modified Quake 3
Well, that's
engine. Or
the
something
thing
like
too.
that.
I was laughing at out loud to myself. I'm watching that and I'm like, they haven't seen Battlefield 4, have they? Because it looks like a million times better. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Metro Last Light on the computer.
Oh
It just
God,
looks
yes.
out of the water.
I was
Like,
playing my favorite moment in Metro Last Light. I know this is gonna get off topic quickly, but is when you're. It's not really a spoiler. So
Yeah,
you're basically you're going in the Nazi camp, and he shoots the gun up in the air, and that
yeah,
running
They showed that
sequence.
in the video.
That running sequence. When I was watching it, it's like this looks next gen because everyone is reacting around you. Like the people are literally moving out of the way. It looks so good.
That's the other thing. When you say next gen, when you're watching that, every time I hear what specs are going to be in these new consoles, and then I look over at my computer, I have two 670s in there, an
Oh, God.
i5 processor. I have a 2560 by 1440 monitor. Why the hell do I care about this next gen?
Just give me games.
Yeah.
And that's the thing because Microsoft, they're not. I mean, they're obviously disconnected to their own
Yeah.
audience. So there's obviously a lot of idiots up there. But at the same time, they're not living under rocks. They know,
Yeah.
when there's criticism, they hear it. They might not want to accept, admit it in public, but they hear it. So at E3, we will see talking about games at least. I don't know if we'll see games.
Kinect.
We'll see. They'll talk about games.
Kinect.
I heard
Kinect.
them say that they wanted to. That was the nice thing about this conference is they got all that crap out of the way.
Yeah.
So now they can at least talk about games. They did say they have 15 exclusives, and
Eight of them are
that worries me.
new
that it's
IPs.
gonna be a lot of Connect games.
That's what I was
Yeah,
worried about. I'm like, so like what? Dance Central Remix Edition or something? And
Well, I think the it's just I won't say I'm worried because I don't care, but it's like I think the what's most likely to happen is that they're gonna come out there and they're gonna be like, this time we're gonna make it up to them, and they're gonna be like, games, but it's gonna be exactly the same as the TV. It's just that they switch out the words, and it's gonna be exactly the same. They're not gonna say, okay, guys, let's show you the games. This is what it's going to be like, and they're going to be standing there saying, "Yeah, this is super high tech, super duper super."
Yeah,
it's like everything's like there's a bunch of empty PR words, just a lot of bullshit, baloney, nothing real. That's the thing, because they are so disconnected. They don't understand that when they make a mistake like they did, that they have to make it up and actually show something. Because I don't know if they are actually ready to show anything properly. Yeah,
it's kind of funny that you say that disconnect. I don't know if you guys. I listened to the Giant Bombcast, and
I wish I did, but I actually never got into it.
It's well, Jeff Gersman on there actually said they went to the Xbox campus. It's a campus.
yeah, and it was in a tent.
Yeah, and he said that everybody seemed blissfully unaware of what people actually want. Like he said, in that disconnect, it seems like they're all on this campus making their thing, and they don't really know what people want. Is what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, that's what I was very applause to Sony, because when they came up on their conference, they were like, games, developers, games. Here's our new games.
And they showed a lot more. They didn't.
They didn't show the console, which you could argue there, but at the same time, they did what they were supposed to do, which is.
And they
games.
gave a few. Yeah, they gave a few hints towards what the hardware is going to be like, instead of just we have a super high tech processor and blah blah blah.
They didn't they didn't at the Xbox conference. They never specified if it was DDR5 or DDR3 RAM.
They just said super fast RAM.
It said 8 gigs RAM. And,
and 3-4 of them will be used for the
operating system.
Yeah.
So
it's like 4 gigabytes of RAM. How is that next gen?
Well,
Jesus, there's people who have gaming PCs with 32 gigabytes.
Yeah. That's the other thing that was silly to me. I don't really know anybody. I know I won't want to, because the other thing that Microsoft focused on that was kind of just not great is that they said, oh, you're going to be able to do all of these things on your console. I don't want to do all of those things.
It's like watch TV while you're playing. I don't want to.
Well, not even just that. They have Skype. I already have Skype. They have Internet Explorer. I don't want to do that.
Why would you want Internet Explorer?
During the conference, he's like, everyone was applauding this guy when he was like showing the transitions, and he's like, Xbox, open Internet Explorer, and everyone goes silent.
Yeah, like, oh, great.
They're like, oh, Internet Explorer.
I don't understand that. But it's not even that, okay, I have a computer that can do that, but most people that are going to play the Xbox One, they already have a smartphone, and they already have a tablet that can do all of that.
Or they have a computer, just a basic computer.
So there you go. They have 3 things that already do all of that stuff better.
Exactly.
And think about it. Like, you can watch a football game on the TV while you're playing.
And then fantasy sports.
Okay, I understand. It's progress either way. But it's like, think about you playing Metro Last Light or some equivalent game, really immersive game where you're sitting there playing. Isn't that kind of isn't that a little disrespectful towards the developer and everyone to sort of sit there and you're playing, you're shooting they're just talking now. Okay, I'll watch TV and wait till the cutscene is over. Like, aren't you supposed to be paying attention? I mean, the whole point of a game, at least the way they used to be, is the interactivity.
at once.
Yes,
crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand the like as if that was like, oh, yes,
Yeah.
that was the only thing I was missing from the
Yeah.
original Xbox was to be able to watch TV while I play games.
I have a cable box.
The two things
and
that
that's one thing too.
Yeah, I have a
Why do you
cable
need
too,
to watch
exactly.
TV on the Xbox? Why
Yeah.
do you need? Why
I
can't
will
you watch
say-
TV on the TV?
Say that
I don't get it.
the one good thing about that I've actually heard is that you're going to watch it through it, but they haven't said exactly how that is going to work. But I don't know about your guys' cable providers, but I have
Time Warner cable.
and
It's awful.
ferocious
It's-
to navigate the menus, and maybe they can make that better is what I've kind of heard. That whole thing's that's fine, but still it's not like, oh my god, you just blew my mind. You know?
The one thing I hate about Time Warner cable, I know this is complete random. I know I'm assuming you have it, but
Yes. Just
if you're watching it on a HD TV and you go to the guide, it's an ugly ass 4x3 like
just
sub
yeah.
480p menu that looks awful.
So maybe that will be better.
And maybe the Xbox One will make it HD.
The thing is, out of both of them, even though I was still more impressed by the PlayStation 4, the thing that excited me the most is what we started talking about, is that I'm going to have better running games on my computer right out of the box, hopefully. I don't have to wait to be patched and all this stuff, and like it'll just run good right out of the gate. Right when I download it, it just plays good. I don't have to worry about it. It looks great. That's what excited me the most.
And that's one thing we should have touched on is like last generation of consoles affected the PC gaming.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, people don't develop for PC anymore, really. There isn't a big market. It's all about consoles, but we get ports from consoles with some extra perks.
It depends. I think there is a big market for PC stuff, but there are some games that, I don't blame it. Yeah, it's a business. You need to make the most money you can. That's just how it works. So they're going to, of course, do it on all of them. And again, that's good for the developers now because they don't have to. It's going to be easier to just do it.
Port. I think it's like the last console generation. Kind of that was sort of the second to last nail in the coffin for PC. It was at a time there it was pretty close to like I almost gave up PC gaming because it was atrocious ports and exclusives. PC didn't get anything, but it kind of especially as the consoles got older.
I think that's what it was
PC
right
gaming,
there.
Yeah, PC gaming
Well, that's
started
why I got
flourishing again.
into it is because I'm like, man, this is getting boring on here, and I keep seeing all this stuff on computers. I'm like, I'm gonna try this out, and that's how.
Yeah, and
I got
as a
into
result, reviewers started using the PC for their footage for reviewing, and developers started showing the PC. Yeah, using the PC footage for promoting the game.
Well, I remember seeing Battlefield 3 and being like, "Oh my god, that looks amazing!" And then playing it on the Xbox and my computer, and then just basically
completely
never touching
different
my Xbox again.
experiences. Completely different experiences.
And that's a perfect example because it's not just that the graphics are worse, but the Xbox literally can't handle. The maps are smaller, the player count is smaller, there's less stuff, in the maps. It's a smaller game than on the PC, so it's not as good a game, even in gameplay terms.
To see how that changes on these next ones.
I do believe the next ones will. They did confirm that. I believe they confirmed. Don't hold me to it. That the next generation consoles will be running at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
And they will have a 64 player count.
It'll be interesting to see and I know they said they were adding. That's the other thing about the Xbox too. That's interesting to see with the PlayStation 4 is PlayStation 4 has free internet. And then you got to pay $60 a year, which is also ridiculous on the Xbox.
Yeah,
but they said that they were adding a bunch more servers and all this stuff to their their service.
All I got to say is, what does that have to do with anything? Does it make stuff faster? Or?
Well,
the problem about the Xbox One is that of course, a lot of these are rumors. You don't exactly know. but it's like about the not. They don't want to call it always online, but it's like once per 24 hours.
Kinect is watching
you. So basically, you always have to be online to play, which in terms means that you have to pay. You have to pay the fee, the yearly fee. There is no choice. You can't have the console and play games and not pay the fee. You have to pay it. So it's like it, and then you pay an extra $60 per year, or maybe even more because it's better. But it's like. Then that's in addition to the games costing more, you have to buy the console itself. There's a lot of money piling up that you have to pay that could have gone into you say, oh, PC game is too expensive. There's too much this and that, But it really, I think when you line them up, I don't have any facts to back this up, but basically I think when you line them up, especially if you're a hardcore gamer that buy a lot of games.
You're spending a lot of money.
And like just now, I bought Alan Wake's American Nightmare for €1.40.
Which is $1 in America.
Yes,
it's $1.
It's like how and
find that today.
I'm not saying there's not sales on the Xbox Live or Arcade, but it's like in retail, you're never gonna get a game, even a small one like that, for €1 unless it's like big rigs. I don't think that one even would be that cheap.
In the Xbox's defense, though, they did do the sale, because I remember reading that it was $5 for it was $5 for sale. But
the thing about that is those are only the small. I mean, even Alan Wake, the main game is like €2 for me now, or it was. I don't know if the sale is still on.
Yeah,
and it's like 90% off, but you have that on Xbox Live too, but you don't have every single game released on Xbox on Live Arcade.
And Xbox,
on PC, you have pretty much every game on Steam.
And then Xbox doesn't have like a Steam summer sale.
Which
is
holiday sale, winter sale.
When Steam summer sales come along, or winter sales, I literally have to hide my wallet.
Yep. Me too, because I'll just buy shit for no reason.
And the thing is, Gabe Newell, I don't know what you're doing, but I look at all the games and I'm like, I'll play this game. I know I will. And then I buy it, and then it just sits in my Steam library for like years, and I never install it.
Actually, Alan Wake's American Nightmare. I have Alan Wake. I finished it.
It's a really good game.
I really liked it. But I bought American Nightmare now. I'm taking it a step further because I bought American Nightmare now. I know I'm not going to play it. I know I'm never going to play it. Why did I buy it?
Because you could. And it was like
it's like €1. Why can't I spend €1? It's a game that I can have here. If I suddenly get some deadly disease and I figure out I have 1 week to play to survive, to live before I die, then I'll just fuck it. I'm just gonna plow through my library. That's or something like that. But it's just it was so cheap. I figured I'll support the developer. I'll buy a game because I'm a collection whore. I love buying new games. And and it was so cheap, and I know it's going to be good. So if I play it someday, it's in there. I have it.
Here's the other thing too about these consoles. You always hear people say, "Well, there's exclusives you're going to miss out on." Okay, I always say, "Well, guess what? You're going to miss out on exclusives on the PC, and there's a lot of them." Arma. You got all these League of Legends, Dota. You got all these shooters, Rising,
Counter-Strike, Source,
and they
and all the Valve stuff. I mean, not just Valve. I mean, Valve games aren't exclusive, but all the stuff they're releasing, like for Left 4 Dead 2, you have the entire Left 4 Dead 1 campaign playable in Left 4 Dead 2 now, and all the modding. Mod support,
and it's getting easier to do all that stuff too.
Yeah. It's getting easier and easier. I mean, modding used to be like this cool... just modding the game, just putting the files in the correct folder and changing config files and stuff like that used to be like a game of its own. But now it's just, you just click download, like Skyrim. You just click subscribe, done. When you start the game, it's in there.
I've been playing Skyrim again lately, and I wanted to see all the new mods and all this stuff, and I'm just like, man, this game, it just looks amazing mods. Still. It's like crazy how good it looks with all that stuff on there. And it was just, subscribe. Some of it you do have to go to the Skyrim Nexus, but even that is like not really that difficult. Most of the time.
Skyrim is one of those games where you actually go in and you just feel almost like your body is actually cold in the Nordic areas. And if you get the right mods, you can like get the star mod and like the moon mod and like
I probably have like 75 mods on that game.
You can make your dragons like turn into My Little Ponies. And it's ridiculously fun if you know what you're doing.
So much customization that the consoles just will never have. There's so many that's the other thing I wanted to say about exclusives. There may be exclusives on the console, but they're all kind of the same. Like they're always kind of like third-person shooters or first-person shooters, or they're kind of an action-y kind of game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on here, you get such a wide variety of exclusive type games. Like
Indie.
I mean, go from Dota 2 to Counter-Strike. I mean, they're so different, but so like I mean, I've played League of Legends and Dota 2 and just like sunk hundreds of hours into them. Like there's so much depth there. And it's just crazy. I mean, hell, Dota 2, you don't have to spend a dime on it. What can you say about that anywhere else?
No,
you know?
and there's beta keys everywhere. You can go anywhere and just say, hey, I'm looking for a beta key, and like people will throw you hundreds of them.
Wants them.
I'll give you one. I have like a ton of my account. It's just crazy.
I have like
they
11.
Try to get back on topic a little about the consoles. I feel like this new generation is a lot more. I'm a lot more optimistic about it. Not just I don't care about the technical stuff that much. I mean, yes, it's gonna slow down. You know, the evolution of not just graphics but technology. I mean, just the fact that the Xbox One will have about 4 gigabytes of RAM that it can actually use for the games. Mm-hmm. You won't be able to have a game that is Skyrim twice, or times 2 or 4, with insane graphics. Because you don't have enough memory to load everything in, and you're going to have these texture loading problems as well because they're not as advanced as you might hope they would be. But at the same time, what I'm more optimistic about, especially for the PlayStation 4, is that, as you mentioned earlier, the PlayStation 3 had such a completely different infrastructure or whatever, that it was hard for developers, multi-platform developers, to make games. Again, like we talked about Skyrim, look at that. For the longest time, the first DLC they released was broken and they couldn't release anymore. They wanted to, they couldn't, because it just wouldn't work with the PlayStation.
There were many games that were like that on the PS3 where they were just like, man, they won't work correctly.
Fallout.
Fallout.
Consistently multi-platform games run and look worse on the PlayStation 3. There are a few exclusives, like Naughty Dog's games and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, they work great because the developer knows what he's doing and he's making the game just for the PlayStation. Then it works great. But on multi-platform, I don't even know why PlayStation owners buy multi-platform games, because they know they're going to be screwed. They know they're going to have to wait months for patches. And in the case of Skyrim, for a while, it looked like the game would never be playable properly on the PlayStation 3.
That really sucks too, if that's your own way to play games. And and
you have to pay for these games, and they're not even complete. You can't even play them properly. So the thing about the PlayStation 4 is it's basically a PC, and I think that's going to be better for everyone. It's going to be because PlayStation games. I mean, how many games from that were made from the PlayStation 3 that came over to PC in hindsight do you know of? And how many of those are actually? I can think of one.
Okay.
Dark Souls, and it is the shittiest port I've ever seen in my entire life.
It is awful.
I haven't wanted to buy it because I've heard it.
I know of plenty of people who say, you're missing out. Buy it on the PC. Yes, it's buggy, it's terrible. There are some mods you can fix it, but it's so much fun even without, with all the bugs and the control issues.
Even
and stuff. And
Steam.
I'm like, you know what?
Even Steam is like, we know it's crappy, you need a controller for it. When you buy it, they're like, we recommend you have a controller.
And it's like,
because it's so bad.
Yeah, I'm my mind is blown away by the fact that didn't they have the internet? Couldn't they Google what do you need in a PC port or anything? Like it's just the mouse sensitivity was horrible. The controls were weird on the keyboard. The graphics were terrible.
Oh, it was awful.
And they said, yeah, it's not possible to do it. And then a modder like came 2 days later. I fixed it.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I went in your guys' file and like you were locked in at 30 frames per second for some goddamn reason. I just changed it. There you go.
And they didn't even come out after and say like, "Oh, what do you know? Okay, we're gonna include that in the game from now." No, they didn't do
that was such a good game. It's like, come on.
And
at least the second one is going to come out on PC at the same time.
and I think the PlayStation 4, the fact that it is so close to PC and probably Xbox, it uses normal hardware that you can find on Earth, so
yes,
not custom hardware that you have to have a dev kit and you have to specifically design it for that dev kit.
So that's the nice thing too. They might develop it first on PC and then port it over to the consoles.
Yeah, that can be a solution for some, but even if they don't, even if they
it'll still work
make it for the play, and multi-platform will just be better for everyone. I'm not saying the graphics will be amazing or anything like that, but at least the games will work better and they will be easier to port and easier to sort of understand for the developers when they're making it. It won't take that long to port a game. It won't be that buggy necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great because for me as a PC gamer, that's great because I will get more games that I can actually play.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dark Souls, I would have loved to play it. I mean, one of my all-time favorite games is Severance: The Blade of Darkness, and another one is Gothic 2, and they're both like brutally hard RPGs. They're horrible. I hate them when I play them, but I love it at the same time. It's so frustrating, but it's exactly what Dark Souls is except Dark Souls is newer, it's better, it has tons of this cool lore
it's
and the evasion system
in an awesome way.
and all the loot, the armor pieces and the exploit. It seems like such a great game. I want to play it, but I just can't allow myself to buy it when it's to support this kind of practice, So I just have stay clear of it, and hopefully when the next one comes out, it'll be a good game.
Work.
I agree. But all right, let's move on because I think we could talk about this all day.
Yeah, all day long.
All day long, and
we've already talked about it all day.
Yeah, basically. We should name this podcast just the Xbox bashing podcast
by the PC Master Race representatives.
Hashtag PC Master Race. But actually, one last thing, I really wonder if they're going to be the consoles just for performance-wise, because I know they're not going to be as good.
No.
I'm just wondering, is it going to be running at 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second?
It probably will.
Sub 720 or actually 1080?
I think at some point it's going to just be the same. It probably at first they will, but a few years down the road it just won't be able to do it.
I mean, the Xbox and the PS3 as well, they were like, 60 frames per second locked always. They promised that.
Call of Duty, that's it.
That was it.
And I think a racing game occasionally had 60 frames per second.
Yes, exactly. And they promised it, and and they show it off, and they're like, glorious 60 frames. But I'm like, I don't know. I don't care too much about it because, again, I'm going to be playing on the PC, and as a PC gamer, unless you have the latest hardware, you're going to have to turn down the graphics a little bit, or you're gonna have to live with 20 FPS or 30 FPS or something like that. There is no sort of like always 60 on the PC.
No.
But at the same time, it's like even on the consoles, it might be a selling point for some really major games like Halo or something like that in the beginning.
Call of Duty for sure.
Yeah, and a few years down the line, nobody's gonna think about that anymore because it's gonna be
I remember an EA executive said something about Battlefield 4 running at 60 frames per second on the consoles.
Finally.
Someone from EA said
you better. I'm gonna hold your word to this.
Yeah.
Because I plan on getting a PS4 just for my family in general.
Yep.
And it's not even for me. I mean, I'll play the exclusives on it, but it's more for my family just to use it as. I wouldn't say a media
box. But it is.
media streaming, but like Blu-ray player, I guess, and stuff like that. And sure. I won't be on it all the time, but I'll be on it definitely to play the games. But that's basically the only reason. But anyways, we're getting off topic again. So anyways, E3 is like literally 10 days away, 9 days away. And yeah, I am super excited.
Honestly,
you have no clue.
E3, it's like my Christmas every year.
It is. I literally am like, when I talk to my parents, I'm like, is there anything you need to do? Because today it's like a very special day to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be watching my computer monitor for like 6 hours, watching all the demos, exclusive, the press conferences. But anyways, what would you guys like to see from this year's E3?
Oh man, I mean, I just want to see the new stuff, you know, the new games, because I think the past like 2 E3s
it's been
felt
awful.
very stagnant, like even just all around. So I mean, I have like a list of these games I'm excited to see, and I'm excited. I mean, there's some new stuff that's going to come out. I mean, I want to see Witcher 3. I cannot wait to see that.
I still haven't beaten Witcher 2.
Oh god, dude! I mean, that year that was probably my favorite game.
Yeah, I'm adding that to my list.
Oh god,
I completely forgot.
So
and
good.
I love the second one. Yeah.
And it looks like they're doing new stuff with it. Like it's going to be more open world. I mean, they've even said it's like kind of Skyrim-esque in a lot of ways. Which
and I don't even care if the graphics aren't better than Witcher 2, because Witcher 2 already looks fantastic.
Amazing.
I mean,
I have a GTX 670 and I can't max that out.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sure you can find things to nitpick about, but the art style is gorgeous. The world looks gorgeous. Everything is amazing looking.
Combat in Witcher 2 was so satisfying to me.
Yeah,
and
it was challenging. It wasn't like Assassin's Creed, like click, click, click.
Yeah.
Click.
That's one of the things that actually turned me off
stuff.
to that game. Was it was so goddamn hard. Because I'm not really a. It's not like Dark Souls level, but it's challenging, and
it was very challenging, especially at first, because it didn't really give you a great idea of how to play sometimes.
Yeah. Before they got the tutorial and stuff. Yeah.
It was certainly brutally difficult, but it was one of those games I remember playing. I'm gonna play this game. I was determined to play it. And beat it.
For me, like at this point, I love The Witcher 2, and for me, I don't. Okay, yeah, it's gonna be open world. It's gonna be this and that, and cool, awesome. But I kind of don't care if it's just The Witcher 2.5 that continues the story. That'll be great for me too. Like, I just want.
They didn't have to do. When they said we're doing open world, they didn't have to do any of that.
It could have been a linear, straight.
Yeah,
it could have been just continued, but they want to up the ante, and I really respect that. But at the same time, I just want to continue playing The Witcher. I just want to be Geralt again. I want to. There are a few things that I missed from the second game that I really hope will, because the story of The Witcher 2 got so big. It took up like the entire time of the game, basically.
Yeah.
But there's some things that I felt were missing, and that's mainly Geralt is supposed to be a monster hunter. He's not just like a monster hunter, but like sort of like a detective. Like if you played the first game, you saw the intro video where you have this. He's like following the tracks of this monster and like smelling the ground and like.
They might be able to do that in this one, since it's
and that's something I really hoping for the third game, where you can have these almost like kind of like in Batman Arkham City and. Arkham Asylum, where you have this simple sort of deductive stuff, certain side quests, so that you're not forcing the people who just want action and grand fantasy, but for the people who want it, that these sort of deductory quests are there. That's something I would love to see in the third game, to have this sort of more fleshed out, because that's actually his job, but in The Witcher 2, this whole, because he was marked as a traitor and a Kingslayer, he was constantly followed around. So I understand the perspective, but I would just love to see more.
I haven't beaten the game, so I don't really know anything. You guys, I got back into it the other day. I was like, I'm really gonna play this. I played like 20 minutes of it. I'm like, I'm done.
It's definitely tough. I won't lie. I'm sure that turned.
I'm playing it on easy because I tried it on normal.
I think just play it. Yeah.
I was like, I could beat this. I could do this, and I was like, no, I can't. I can't. But I could play Dark Souls and be fine with it. And I was like, this game's in a way is kind of harder than Dark Souls if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But we got Arma 3. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I played the alpha. It's very. There's not much you can do with it now because
not yet. Yeah.
It doesn't have vehicles. I mean, it has vehicles, but it doesn't have like tanks and Apaches.
I was impressed so far with it though. I mean, it's definitely. I already bought it too, so I had.
It's very nice. It does have a lot of frame rate issues. I've had definitely needs to be optimized more. It is
sure, and that was kind of. I kept in mind that it was an alpha because I'm playing. I have a system that should be able to play anything.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, man, why is it still stuttering a little bit here and there? But yeah. I mean, hopefully they fix some of that stuff.
Definitely.
Something I really am excited about for Arma 3 is I saw the alpha stuff, like you can try stuff, but some of the earlier videos I saw where they were talking about all the buildings will be you'll be able to enter all buildings. There'll be RPG systems where you can talk to people and get like quests, and modders can create their own scenarios and stuff. Yeah. And my mind was just racing with all these ideas, like co-op mods where you basically have sort of like an RPG where you're mercenaries or something, and you're going around in this open world doing certain objectives and stuff. Because I am one of the 10 people in the world who have actually played Arma 2 single player. So
hopefully that stuff's better.
Yeah, it was buggy, but it actually had ambition because it was pretty cool. Like you start off just regular, we're invading this island. Why? Just because. And it's
America.
And then and then shit goes haywire and blah blah blah, just like in all these games. But the cool thing is, like, suddenly you're no longer this invading force because they all fall back and you get trapped behind enemy lines. So now you and your squad have to try to avoid contact with the enemy, and you have to sneak around. You talk with some local militia depending on whether you help them or not earlier in the game. Mm-hmm. And they put you in a car. You're lying in the back seat, and they smuggle you through the border, and you have to sort of fight your way back. And how the dynamics change in the game all the time. It's really ambitious. It's buggy as hell. There's times when you order a helicopter to come transport you, and you order them to land right on this spot here because it's open. Land right here.
And they land on top of the trees.
Yes, and there's trees 500 meters away, and they land on the trees. And you're like, oh my god, I didn't save for 4 hours. Oh. So, but even then, it had a lot of ambition, and I think there's, if they can, especially now with since they sold so many copies with DayZ and stuff, they have a lot of money.
Oh,
and I hope they spend a lot of that money on polishing because it's so annoying to play such an ambitious game that is just completely broken with bugs.
Yeah. I agree. What else we got?
Speaking of DayZ.
Oh yeah, that's an awesome segue. Let me find it.
I really want to play a DayZ standalone.
Yeah, the standalone is going to be at E3, and it's going to be playable. We were talking before, and apparently it is in closed alpha or closed beta or alpha.
Closed alpha right now. I think they said what I read about it is just like it's very close. Like it's only one server running with 30 to 60 people.
Yeah.
But I think, and they were saying that when alpha goes like live they're going to have the same kind of thing. It's just going to be a live alpha for everybody. You can buy into it for like $10 or whatever it's going to be, and then it'll be like Minecraft and get more expensive as it goes along.
I was one of those people who I played DayZ. I heard everybody talking about it. I played it and I hated it. I hated it.
I think it's kind of like a case of it was just Dark Souls for me.
It was so clunky, the controls.
It's completely unforgiving, not just because of the game, not just because of the actual thing you're doing. It's
the douchebags that run around and will kill you just to get like a water bottle off of you.
But see, once I got into it though, it's still going to be that way. And see, you become that asshole.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
If you want to play DayZ nowadays, you have to have friends
Yeah.
that are better than you, and you got to go on a certain server. You got to get on Skype or TeamSpeak and say, "Hey, I need you to meet me here because if I go by myself, I'm going to die."
Yeah, you're dead. What I would like to see from it, though, I think, is I want them to keep some of the things that were fun about it, but it definitely lost some of its appeal to me, and like I kind of just didn't want to play it anymore because you just kept doing the same thing over and over. So hopefully it's more of a game.
Objectives.
I started playing DayZ pretty early on when it was kind of fresh and new, and you didn't know sort of what the maximum was, what the best weapon was, what the
It was fun.
And because I remember I met I was playing with my clan and we played together, but there was one day I was just playing alone, and there was this guy I saw, and I was like, oh shit, he's gonna shoot me? Is he a bandit? And he shot at me, and I started shooting back at him, and he but then he started talking in the chat because I always talked in the voice chat and like, are you friendly or know? And that guy said, oh, it's that was the first one was a warning shot, and I said that's a pretty accurate warning shot. and actually we ended up tagging along for a bit, and there were some shooting, some bandits in because it was very close to Cherners and.
That was me when I played DayZ. I was just like hold down caps lock, and I was like, "Are you friendly? Are you friendly?
Yeah.
Please don't kill me. I don't have anything."
That's one of the unique things about DayZ. It's kind of what we said about Rising Storm in a way. And that's what I want to see more of it. Is there's no story. You create your experiences.
Oh yeah,
it's really cool.
It is if you do get in the right places and you get the right kind of gear, you can have some epic gaming stories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like raiding a bandit camp or something.
I think both those games are similar in that they both have sort of the potential to be these awesome games, but they have a really high. They're really susceptible to abusive, exploitive players who ruin the experience, who don't play the roles they're given, sort of. Like, because in the beginning you had bandits who just shot you on sight, but they did it for a reason. They came to loot you. But as the game went by and more people joined in, there were people who just shot you. They didn't go to loot you because they knew some enemies were probably going to be around. Fuck it, I'm not going to die. And then the hacking started, and it was just insane. People who just speed hacking the whole island around and just shooting people. They were invincible.
Yeah.
And they ran around with hatchets, killing people.
And that's why they wanted to create
bother?
the new game, is that net code and stuff wasn't designed for that. So now it'll be, I'm excited for that.
I'm interested in seeing stuff, but I'm not like, it'll be cool to see because they have like, clothing, you have a shirt, pants, it's not just an outfit. A lot of added things and some realism, sort of when you go into store, the cans won't be on the floor, they'll be in the shelves and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I was kind of burned out on DayZ when I stopped. I was very burned out, actually.
That's why I hope they show.
Is it going to be the same island, or is it going to be a different island?
I think it is going to be it's the same island.
All right.
And that's why I said I really hope they're like this is more of a game, because before it was kind of just once you explore the whole island a bunch of times, it's like this is kind of just done.
And that's why I got burned out, because I played with my friends. We were a pretty good big group, and we built up this camp of tents on the server, and we had everything. We had every weapon. We had a ton of these, like L85s with the thermal visions. We have ghillie suits.
The tent.
We had the trucks. We had the tractors, even the ATVs, the cars. We had everything, and we just there's nowhere left.
What do we do?
Left to go now. And we started getting paranoid because shit, there's people attacking our camp. We have to defend it, or we'll lose stuff. And suddenly we came on the server one day, and there were a bunch of people had stolen our truck with a bunch of equipment in it. It was like, oh shit, we have to find it, get it back and stuff. But it was like, we were so paranoid. We didn't want to use the cars because it was so easy to just get shot up and lose it. And then it's like, why did we even try to get this stuff if we can't even use it? So it's we kind of got bored at that point.
Hopefully, that's the stuff that I think they need to address. Hopefully they do.
I was going over the list for big games at E3, and one caught my mind. It's Barbie Dreamhouse Party by Little Orbit developer. It's going to be coming out on the Wii U.
I already
Definitely
pre-ordered it.
Game of the Year right here. They still make
What's
games for
another-
Wii U?
I guess I forgot that thing existed
I thought that
already.
thing existed. We got
It's funny how people bought the Wii and it just became a dust collector, and
Yes,
basically.
God.
then the Wii U came and it's like,
a 480p
cares.
we're gonna
Netflix
buy it
box.
because it's gonna be different this time. We promise. Like, okay,
Where's the games?
yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. We got Battlefield 4. What else we got?
Very excited for. I mean, there's not even much to be said about it. I love
Yeah.
Battlefield 3.
I am a
played
Battlefield fan.
way too much. I'm gonna buy it. Like, it's just, I don't even question it. You know, it's just.
We got what else do we got? We got Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, I'll probably get that.
Phantom
I've never
Pain.
been a Metal Gear
I
fan,
love-
but I've always been a fan of advanced stealth games. So
So you're probably gonna get
because
the
it was-
new Splinter Cell.
Yeah,
Alright.
I
No.
think that looks good
No?
too.
I don't know. Maybe I will get it, but it's like all the stuff I've been reading about,
Yeah.
like, oh, we're going back to the roots, but we're
I
not
think
really
what I'm
going back to the
excited
roots.
about for
Spies
that,
versus
actually-
Mercs. That's all I have
yes,
to say.
that's what I was gonna say. Is that's what I'm
Yeah,
excited for.
and I love that in Pandora Tomorrow when it first came out. But it's at the same time, I don't know. I might get the game. I got Conviction,
Mm-hmm.
the collector's
Yeah.
edition, because it had a cool figure in it, and I was like, I think I played the game for like an hour or two, and
Yeah.
then I just didn't play it anymore.
Yeah.
So the multiplayer mode might be cool, but at the same time, I feel like it's kind of the same as, it's not the same at all as DayZ, but it's the same sort of thing where you eventually you will get burned out on it, and I don't see that game getting like a ton of DLCs where it's like
Might
new
not,
maps
yeah.
that
Yeah,
completely
right,
changed, because in that mode the maps don't really matter at all, because it's all about just staying in the shadow, taking them out here and there, and sure, you learn the maps and then you know this is a good place for that, but at the same time it's the gameplay that matters, and unless they change that, eventually I think people are going to get burned down on it, because there's a new map pack coming and it takes an hour and then you know it and then you're done with that too.
Splinter
Yeah.
Cell Conviction was one of my top 10 favorite games, actually, believe it or not. And it wasn't because of the mechanics, it was because of the story. It was a very
Yeah.
good,
I-
very good
I
story.
enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the older ones.
Oh, yeah,
so I
definitely,
kind of hope it
definitely.
goes back to some of it. But
It's got
we'll
it's got the mark and execute mechanic this
I
time.
thought that was cool. I think-
It's cool. It makes you feel like a badass, but I'm sure that they'll always have that stealth element you can take, but you can run and gun if you so
Yeah.
wish.
I'll always-
I'll always hide. I don't know. Whenever a game offers me a stealth mechanic,
Yeah.
I just take it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Dishonored, I still have yet to finish that game because I want to get the good ending, and the good ending is kill only your targets.
No, you have
and,
you can't kill those either.
Oh
To get
man.
the good ending, you can't kill them. You have to find
you have to do
alternative
that
ways
once.
to
Oh,
take them
yeah,
out without killing them.
Oh well, not physically killing them, like poisoning their food, for example, or poison.
No, you can't. You can't even do that.
Oh,
You
you
can't
can't?
kill them.
You
Oh,
have to have the ones where the one guys
yeah.
get shipped off to a slave camp.
Yeah,
and
because
stuff like
I might be wrong. You might get the good ending either way, but I got rid of every single target without killing anyone. Like, for example, I don't want to spoil anything, but like there was a target you could talk to this smuggler guy. To him, and basically he would, if you did a side quest for him, he would let you do an alternative way to take out these targets by sending them to a slave camp instead, so they would live in pain for the rest of their lives, but at least they wouldn't die.
Oh, nice.
And I got the achievement for not killing anyone in the whole game. But
Yeah,
you're
nice.
right. It might be possible to finish the game and get the good ending and still kill someone, but
Oy.
because you have this chaos system, it's low chaos, high
Yeah.
chaos. So I
Yep.
think as long as it's on low
Yep.
chaos, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's not to get off topic again, but that was one thing that game really bothered me about was they give you all these attacks, but they
Stealth
They
was
punish
boring.
you for using them.
they say, well, you're gonna get the bad ending if you use these
Yeah.
powers.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the
Yeah.
point on using them?
And if you want to get the good ending, you have to do it the boring way, where I mean, stealth isn't boring, but there's you could choke a guy out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could choke a guy out, or you could choke a guy out. That was the
I want
only
to kill
way.
motherfuckers.
That's basically the entire
game.
game. Yeah.
There was no way to land on top of people and not stab them in the face. You know, it was like all those moves from below, from above, they were all lethal. No non-lethal.
Yeah. Well, here's a game I'd like to. I don't even know what it's called yet, but I'm pretty sure they're going to show it at E3, and it's the Respawn Entertainment game.
Yeah.
If you guys know who they are, they're from the Infinity Ward guys. I'm kind of excited to see what their game is. I've been waiting every year for the past 2 years. Well, yeah, but I want to know what it's going to be, though. I mean, because honestly, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, I think, was one of my favorite shooters.
I think
of all
everyone agrees on that.
And I'd like to see kind of what, because it's not gonna. They can't. I don't think they're just gonna do another. You know, they can't really do another Call of Duty. I mean, well, they could, but I hope.
But I think they will, because what I think might happen is that they, hopefully, the EA. Gets their head out of their asses, and they say, you know what? We have Respawn, which are basically Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
We have DICE. Let's make Battlefield and Call of Duty two separate games instead of one. So
well,
let's make. So I think that.
I hope that they, because like, look at all the Call of Duties now. I stopped playing them because they're so similar, and I hope, even if it was because I mean, they're kind of like that old school arena combat in a way. You know, I mean, the maps aren't really big, and it's really fast-paced and all that, but there's still just the same thing over and over. So
and there's no skill in it either, so there's not really any redeeming factors for us as gamers. It's much more for like anyone who's not really a gamer who can just jump in and feel like they're dominating the battlefields.
So I'm interested to see what they've been up to, because they just haven't said anything about it.
I would. So let's discuss rumors. Well, not even rumors, because I don't know of any rumors at the top.
Not really.
Off the top of my head, I'd have to pull them up. But what games do you wish or I should say, what games do you hope are announced at E3? If you have an old classic, like for me, like since EA bought Star Wars, I am like the biggest Star Wars fanatic ever. Mm-hmm. Like when I was,
they've been, who knows what they're doing.
When I saw Star Wars 1313, I was
oh God,
no, please don't.
Star Wars Connect 2.5.
I bought Star Wars Connect, all right, and I played it.
Oh my God,
I played it. Why? Because it was Star Wars.
Did you dance as Darth Vader? Yeah. You are a sucker. Oh my God.
I did not do the dancing mode. I didn't go that low, but I did the story, and it was it wasn't god awful like people made it out to be.
But it was like soulless. I mean, you don't feel like
blah.
Oh, these people, yes, they were supposed to make these and these and these games based on, because it's Microsoft, and
it was a kids game. It was a kids game.
And it wasn't like you felt like, well, at least they're Star Wars fans. It's like, no, you have Darth Vader like spinning his arms around to this terrible pop music, like Rihanna or whatever the hell it was.
They took they took like Rihanna music and like remixed it with Star Wars, like the YMCA theme. They remade it to like the Imperial something.
I really would think that EA. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that there will be another one of those, really. But I mean,
I don't think EA.
There's going to be something big.
I know EA is. I could never see. I know EA is big. Nobody likes EA, but I could never see them publishing a kids game like that. Mm-hmm. EA has always been a hardcore gamer.
I think Star Wars 13.
The Sims.
13.
Okay, let's.
There's definitely some things they do that definitely are not great, but I think they'll do something with that.
I do. I don't think they will fuck this up. I think they.
BioWare, come on.
BioWare, they definitely.
DICE is supposed to be working on something that's possibly a Star Wars game.
Definitely Star Wars Battlefront. Definitely.
Hey, that's.
I mean,
sounds-
Star Wars
Yeah,
Battlefront
I mean-
was my favorite PS2 game of all time. So yeah, I'd buy 50 of those copies, and I'll pay for your stupid online passes as well.
Well, no,
I
they're
don't
doing
see-
it with us.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
I don't see DICE. I mean, they have DICE.
Mhm.
Supposed to make a Star Wars game. I don't see how that could not be Star Wars Battlefield or Battlefront.
Yeah.
Star Wars
Yeah.
Battlefield,
It's
yeah.
Probably gonna be
Basic-
Battlefront.
Yeah, basically Battlefront. Either way, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that
Or it
being
could
any different.
be- I think what would be awesome would be a Mirror's Edge Star
Yeah,
Wars
actually,
game.
that's
That'd be
the
kinda
thing
cool.
I wrote
But,
up on my list. Mirror's Edge 2.
Believe it
I
or
would love
not,
to see something
too.
about that.
Amazon.com, I think the Euro site or something, they teased Mirror's Edge 2
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
on the
You
PS4
might
and
be
Xbox One,
Yeah.
as well as PC.
Yeah,
I think
and this is the
so,
time of the year before E3 where you start seeing
yeah,
some stuff.
yeah.
you know?
I honestly, DICE has. I think EA has even said like, yeah, we would love to make Mirror's Edge 2. And it
Yeah.
was a good game. It was. I didn't have any problems with it. It was a little clunky at some times.
Sometimes.
but,
They could've-
Did you play it on console with a controller?
I did. It was on.
Yeah, because
on my
actually
Xbox.
I saw a lot of the reviews that said that there's a lot of times where you end up falling to your death. But actually, I did not have that issue on PC with a keyboard and mouse because you have this much more responsive controller of your character. With the mouse, you can
Yeah.
instantly move around. Of course, there were some times I fell down, but that's part of parkouring. But it's like I really felt that is a perfect example of when mouse and keyboard just beats controller
Yeah.
easily.
Oh, first-person
Uh,
shooters. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
First-person
I'd be
games in
interested
general,
to
where
see what
the
they do with
mouse unbeatable.
Oh,
If they
Uh,
can't, they've had such a long time since that's been out. I mean,
Oh,
usually
yeah.
sequels they can improve on so many
Came
things.
out in,
and
like,
things.
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while, so that's been long enough. They might say, "Hey, we're new consoles. Let's try something different."
Definitely. I could see them, but Visceral is working on a Star Wars game, and Visceral made Dead Space, so maybe we'll get
Yeah,
Star Wars 1313 because it was a mature Star Wars game apparently.
sure.
Yeah, they might
Um,
have taken over the IP that
Somebody
and
has to.
the-
I mean, that
yeah.
looked way too
It
good.
was next gen.
You know.
The
and not just
explosion
the
effects,
rights,
everything.
but the actual engine and the stuff that's so far, that's already created so far. Hopefully, they get that stuff and they
Lot of
can
work
build
was already
on
done.
it instead of making something completely new.
And it was
Yeah.
running on PC. Wink, wink. So
Yeah.
it will be even better for us, I guess.
I think I was trying to think of one of the games. I haven't heard a ton of rumors really, but what I would like to see, I think, and we kind of talked about the game earlier, but I would like to see something new from Bethesda, the actual proper
Yeah.
Skyrim Bethesda.
Yeah, something new, single player related.
Fallout 4?
for me at least,
Oh,
or
that's-
co-op even, but not an MMO.
Yeah, I'd kind
Uh,
of like Fallout 4, but I'd kind of like to see
I don't know if
something
they're-
new.
Yeah, I don't know if they're. I
That's
kind
not
of feel
their
like
style.
Bethesda feel like they're done.
And-
Yeah, they're done with
Fallout.
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 And I personally felt Fallout New Vegas. And again, I played it on PC, not consoles, and the PC version was a lot less buggy. And I was on top of that, I was lucky because I didn't experience any bugs at all. And I'm usually the kind of guy who gets all the bugs.
Yeah.
But New Vegas, I think it's a much better game than Fallout 3 because I feel it's a deeper RPG where I feel like my choices matter, and I feel like I can even if it's just in the desert, which is it's a deserted, dead place. But even then, I felt the world felt so much more. It was so much more alive than what Washington
third one.
D.C. was in Fallout 3. Yeah.
I
So
just
I-
don't know I have no idea what they could be doing though. It's like
I have no clue.
I would really doubt another Fallout because it seems like, I mean, they don't
Yeah.
usually like to do the same things. Maybe they would, but
I mean,
would
Elder
really
Scrolls,
like
but
to
that's
see-
pretty much the only one.
Yeah, but they usually, and even that, they went so long in between. I would really love them to see just something new from them. I don't know. If we do, I mean, it would probably just be what it's called. I'm sure we wouldn't see it, but
Yeah.
But,
but- No, and actually, speaking of New Vegas, Obsidian, I would love to see something coming out of Obsidian.
They have all
gameplay or
kinds of
whatever.
stuff going on. Who knows?
Yeah,
They have
yeah,
all kinds of
and
stuff going on.
and the problem is Obsidian, all their games are so notoriously buggy, but at the same time they're so. I mean, again, Knights of the Old Republic 2, I think was much better than the first one, even with all the missing content and the plot holes and stuff like that. The world felt much more alive, and I felt like I was taking part in this huge war. I don't know. It's a long time since I played it, but I remember last time I played it too that I just felt the world was so much more vivid than what the first one was.
Apparently, Watch Dogs, that game.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Let's not even go there with that game. It looks so good. But apparently, there's going to be another game announced by the same developer.
Yeah, that's really strange.
That will be interesting because maybe they're close to finishing Watch Dogs, and then maybe they're starting something else. But Watch Dogs comes out in November, if I believe, and that
Watch Dogs is one of those games that I feel like it looks great, and but I've kind of over the years been developed this ability to not get super hyped over games too early, because
you have to watch.
Half-Life 2 is a prime example. I was so hyped for it. It was supposed to release in 2003 or something, and it just kept getting postponed. And they showed some back then. I didn't have internet connection like I do now, where I could just go on the internet anytime. And so you had these PC gaming magazines, and I just looked at the pictures, and it looked so amazing. It was like, oh my god, this game is going to be like, I can die after this game comes out, and I won't even care, because it's like it's the game. There will never be anything topping it. And I was so hyped, and it kept getting postponed. And when it came out, it's a great game. But I built the hype up so far that by the time it was released, I was already disappointed even before I played it.
That's the thing I worry about with Watch Dogs, which I'd like to see just kind of more about at E3. But I don't want it to be like Assassin's Creed 1, where
with guns.
Like there wasn't much to do. So
a good concept, but it's not much of a game really.
So hopefully
there's got to be a lot of side missions, a lot of environmental.
And they haven't showed the multiplayer stuff.
There's a multiplayer?
There is supposed to be a when they first showed that game, they showed another guy running across a building that was like a buddy.
Oh, maybe maybe it's co-op or something.
Maybe.
It sounds like the invasion system in Dark Souls or something like that. Where
they haven't showed nothing out of that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I don't want to get hyped, because I don't know anything about Watch Dogs. I mean, I know the basic concept, the basic premise, but it's like,
what else about it?
Yeah, what is it? Is it basically GTA but in a different setting, or is there is it different? Is it more scripted, or is it completely open world? I don't really know.
Find a lot.
It's like a modern cyberpunk kind of thing. You're a hacker, and you can hack anybody's cell phones and find out if they're
that's really cool,
addicted to go something.
Yeah,
it's really weird, but
weird, interesting things.
I hope Ubisoft go far with it in terms of how mature the game is. Not the type of mature
it looks pretty mature. There was one demo where
the stuff I've seen,
you searched one girl's phone, and it said she had 3 STDs.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind that's the kind of mature that's like, haha, look, we have sex things.
I guess you could say that, but
I mean, more like The Witcher 2 or The Walking Dead, something like that, where it's or Metro Last Light, where the themes are where you feel like this world is real and there's serious things going on. And it's not just violence and sex, naked chicks. It's
Metro had that with the
I want
the
that
bar.
With Russ.
You could say I want it to be adult. I don't want it to be mature. I want it to be adult.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Another interesting thing. I don't think they've shown it yet, but I was looking at the list here. Is Dragon Age 3? That hasn't been shown off in any way. I never really liked the other ones. I didn't like the first one that much.
Yeah.
And I didn't play the second one, but I'd be still interested to see what they do with it.
It's going to be on Frostbite 3.
Yeah, that's one
It's-
part
Hopefully
of it.
it'll have colors though. I
Yeah.
really hope.
Yeah,
So-
it was very gray and blood. Gray
So they
and
haven't
blood.
shown it, but we'll see
yeah,
what that
'cause-
is.
Yeah, it could be cool, but it's I'm in the same boat. Dragon Age Origins was so praised. I tried it several times, but
Yeah,
I
me
just
too.
I felt
never
it
got into
failed.
it.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt that it failed with some basic thing where it's just the great thing about sort of the greatest like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, these big movies that happen in these
epic
alternate
fantasy
universes
things.
or and different worlds, is that they don't throw the whole story and the whole world at you immediately. You get time to soak it up. It takes a story that is sort of a part, like especially Star Wars, the first few Star Wars movies. You know, it's a huge world, but it's only especially the first movie. It's just this tiny little story branch in the world. You know, it doesn't go too far. And I felt Dragon Age Origins was just, it bombarded me with dialogues and information and names and words, and I was like, when do I get to play the game? I don't want to stand here and talk to all these people all the
Yeah.
time. And it was so much mundane information too that I felt
Yeah.
like wasn't really necessary. And
Yep.
it kind of that threw me completely out of the game. And Dragon Age 2 it was, you know,
I just didn't even play that one
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
at all.
But and Watch
So much
Dogs,
slack, so-
I'm assuming it's going to have a lot of political aspects to it
Sure.
for hacking and stuff like that. So it will be
That could
interesting.
be cool.
It could be cool because not a lot of games have done it. Devil May Cry, the recent Devil May Cry, did some political stuff, and it was
That's on sale right now.
It was yeah, it is. It's 44% off or 30
I almost wanted to buy
or
it,
something.
but I have so many
It's
games
it's
to play.
really good. I definitely recommend it. I was a little skeptical, but if you play for the story, it's pretty good. But yeah, is there anything else you guys are looking forward to, like PC side?
well, I've like I mentioned earlier, Gothic 2 is my all-time favorite game. It's made by Piranha Bytes. They also made Risen, another game I love. Risen 2. It looked great before it came out, but then it came out and it was kind of
Meh.
yeah. It took out the greatest things about Risen 1. The enemy AI and the combat even was quite fun, and the world of it. And they took out all the good stuff and they put in a lot of less good stuff. And I don't understand the logic behind them, but still, I love Risen 1. I love Gothic 2. I hope they might have something still in the works that they might show. Because I'm still a sort of fan of them, and I appreciate that they're always trying new things.
Yeah, it's been a while since the last game, so you
Yeah,
might get
so
your wish.
hopefully they have something good.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know, Hellraid. What do you guys think about that?
I've seen that.
Don't know
kind
about
of.
it.
Who's
It's
making that?
Techland.
Yeah,
So it's, Dead Island. Call of
Oh,
Juarez.
yes. I thought I saw some screenshots of it.
Yeah.
It looks.
I like.
They do melee
like-
combat pretty well. It is pretty
Yes.
satisfying.
And I was just thinking about when I saw that one screenshot where basically you're first person, you're chopping off some monster's head, and I was thinking, wow, think about a game like Skyrim, or not necessarily open world, but just a game like that, or even like Dark Messiah, where the combat is really satisfying and you chop monsters' limbs off and stuff. Just the combat itself would be so awesome. And Techland, you know, Dead Island, and even that terrible Call of Juarez, the Cartel, had co-op. So hopefully, the upcoming Hellraid would have co-op too.
Oh,
That would be
I
amazing.
wouldn't see
too.
why it
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I'm looking at a gameplay video for. I haven't even seen it yet, but yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's also Dying Light, which I don't know why they didn't just call it Dead Island.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
they call it.
yeah.
That's awesome, though. I was
Dead
really
Island with
impressed by that
parkour.
so far.
Yeah, the parkour, I don't know if they nail it.
I
but
don't
either way,
know.
as long as if it's bad, as long as it's not
Too much.
obstructing my gameplay experience, I don't care. But it's just, you know, yeah, it's open world, it's zombie survival. It's kind of like DayZ, but single player, hopefully in co-op as well. So I hope we get to see some more of that, maybe.
A game I'm interested to see. You can see quite a bit now. Actually, you can get in the alpha, but I just want to find out more about it. Is Grim Dawn? The guys do. What do they make? I can't think of it.
Titan Quest.
Titan Quest, yes. And I wanted to buy into the alpha so bad, but I just don't want to spoil anything for myself, so I'm just going to wait. But
Yeah, actually,
about it.
I backed the Kickstarter and I have access to it, but I don't touch alphas anymore. I just
Yeah,
don't want
that's
to do it.
Wait,
I've
for betas.
Yep.
Yeah,
at
I don't
least
play
beta.
Xenonauts. I didn't play that in alpha. It's in beta now. I'm still not touching it. Prison Architect I've touched upon a little, but
Yeah.
I don't want to play it a lot because it's just
Spoil
it's kind
it.
of fun to be it's kind of fun to be part of betas if you
Yeah.
like finding bugs. But I'm like, I just want to play. Can you just release the full game now? I just
Yeah,
want to play the
basically.
game.
I don't want to like go into corners, see if I fall through the map, and
That's
stuff
that's
like
kind of why I'm interested to see more of this game, because so far they only have like 3 classes. Like there's not a whole bunch like that.
And
there
they
is.
spent a lot of time on this game.
So
Even
very
before the
interesting.
Kickstarter started, they had worked for it on.
It looks awesome, and I think what kind of gets me excited about it is it's not like Diablo 3 or Torchlight or Path of the Exile. It's not that like typical fantasy, dark fantasy kind of look to it. It's like this crazy steampunk kind of it just looks different.
It looks like it looks like Titan Quest, sort of realistic, but less Greek and more sort of Northern European style or fantasy, but more gritty sort of. Not especially the art style, which is not cartoony.
No,
I love Torchlight too, but I could never really connect with the cartoony style of it. I like it, and same with World of Warcraft and stuff like that. I like it when it's more realistic.
Did you ever play Path of the Exile?
Actually, I didn't touch it yet, but I hear.
I bet you would love it. Actually,
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's better than Diablo 3.
it's really
Yeah,
good.
I love these types of games, but for me, co-op is essential. I can't play them alone
Sure.
because usually there's no story and you just play it. I
it's
mean,
just
the
about the
gameplay
gameplay.
is click, 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 click. Yeah, but it's just so much fun to just play it with a friend and just loot and look at this cool thing I got, and it's like even that simple gameplay. But Path of Exile. And Grim Dawn have some really cool aspects to them that sort of differentiate them. Like Path of Exile has this these runes, isn't it? That you sort of you put them together and you create maps. Yeah, well, that too. But you sort of what is it like? Don't you put runes or crystals or something together and you create maps with them? Or
I'm not sure. I haven't played it in quite a while, so that might have been something they added.
Yeah, I just I read something. I just got an email, or not an email, but I go to N4G a lot, and Microsoft just confirmed, quote, no TV talk at E3. It's all about the games. So I think they learned.
Yeah, like I said, but I just hope that they will actually talk about the games and not just do exactly the same thing as they did last time, but replace the word TV with the
all
word
they need
game.
to do is just
games.
That's it.
Yeah, but honestly, I think they've been hard at work trying to find, make up game-related videos and stuff. But I am a little bit afraid that 99% of it will be CGI trailers to get you hyped and almost no gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if they were ready to show off games, and that's why they didn't show it off. But now, because they caught so much flack, I think they're forced to.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure if they're still ready to show gameplay.
On the official channel, they disabled comments for their YouTube channel from the highlights of it, because everyone was just trolling them and disliking the video because it was just so bad. And it was pretty awful. So maybe they just are like, you know what, screw it. We're just gonna do basically games, just games.
Yeah, and I think and some people can come to Microsoft's defense and say, stop hating. Yes, anyone can have a bad day or a bad conference. I mean, the PlayStation, the Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo conferences for E3 and other GDC or whatever other conventions in the past few years have all been disappointing every single year. So it's like that happens, but the problem is here they're sort of showing just how disconnected they are. That's the problem. They don't seem to actually know who they're aiming this at, and it's kind of like they don't have a captain who says, okay, this is the direction we're taking it. They're kind of all over the place.
All over the place, yeah.
And that's a little scary, I think, because it's like you didn't just fuck up this day. You didn't just have a bad conference. You said exactly what you wanted to say, and it's clearly not
what people want.
Yeah.
It may be what you want, and maybe what your stockholders want, and it's not even what your stockholders want. Their stock plummeted.
Yeah.
After the conference, and Sony's went up like 4%. It was hilarious. But anyways, Prey 2. I forgot about that. Did they say if it was canceled, or is it like alive? Is it dead?
No, it's been in limbo pretty much.
Yeah.
It's been in limbo, back and forth.
It's one of those things you just have not heard talked about since they kind of showed up.
Bethesda will be like, bam, here you go. We're still working on it.
I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, but wasn't it? There's rumors now that
something.
The developers of Dishonored are. might be,
I saw that. Yeah, that's
I'd
correct.
be okay
just
with it.
Yesterday. Yep. It looked neat, so
but in that case, are they starting over from scratch, or are they?
When that game was shown off at E3, I remember hearing that video and that gameplay demo was the only thing they even had.
Oh,
so they have to start over anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Arcane, I mean, Dark Messiah was a great concept, but the combat, especially on harder difficulties, you notice just how inaccurate and mediocre the combat was. But even then, it was a cool concept. You had some choices in there. The world was pretty cool, and Dishonored is a great game, I think. So I don't know if they're like stylistically the right choice for a Prey sequel, but then again, Prey 1 wasn't all that great when it actually came out, so I don't know. I don't know if it really matters. I don't know if...
Let somebody have a crack at it.
Yeah, basically what this rumor is all about is that Dishonored may be working on a game, so
that would be,
the name doesn't even matter, really.
That would be cool. Prey 2, the demo looked pretty cool. I mean...
it looked interesting.
It was like a bounty hunter... they don't even really have bounty hunter games.
No.
At all.
No.
Period.
No.
So
that's pretty strange. I mean, Star Wars. There's one I think for like PlayStation.
Bounty hunter. Jedi Jango Fett bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Or Jango Fett or.
I think what you're kind of
like
saying possibly is that it'd be really cool if there was a very like dynamic thing where you're a bounty hunter, you got to hunt people down, you got to talk to people, you got to figure out, and then you got to get
randomly generated assassination targets.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
In an open world, you have to track them down, you have to follow them, you have to find them.
I mean, you basically are kind of like a bounty hunter in Dishonored. You're an assassin and you're doing these contracts, and it would be cool to sort of take that concept, except you're a bounty hunter in sort of like a semi-open world.
Definitely. And there's like no HUD. You have to track him down. You have to overhear conversations. You have to find out what to do. You have to like literally go to his house, like spy on him and stuff like that. Wait for the perfect moment. Mm-hmm. That would be cool. That would be cool.
Another thing, I guess, just looking at it now, looking at N4G, but I would really like to see more. I don't know if we will, but maybe more stuff that's going to be on the Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
Because there's not. That's kind
official
of just
support
off,
specifically.
it's just kind of getting off the ground, but
it looks cool.
I think it's awesome.
I mean, it looks pretty cool.
I've not heard anything. And again, going back to, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but listening to the Bombcast, they finally got their pair, and they were just blown away by it. Like
my brother actually has it.
Oh man.
He bought it for my dad, but when he got it, he was like.
They have them on eBay for like $600. You could buy it.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the Kickstarter and he got it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the thing about the Oculus Rift is it's past that sort of initial shock where people are like mind blown at how awesome it is. Mm-hmm. So this is. E3 is the time when it needs to show what it can do and the games it can support, because now the hype is just going to die on its own gradually if they don't do anything about it.
Yeah. I know the things they need to do with it is a big thing is the resolution is not really that great.
Is it 720 or 1080?
I don't even think it's that much. No, I don't even think it's 1080. No, it's like pretty low res, and they're going to just try to get it up to 1080, which would be fine. But I mean,
it doesn't even have to be 1080 because I mean you're looking through a projection screen, and it could be 720, and you could trick your eyes to thinking it is 1080.
And I mean, the things that I've heard is that it's like being in a game, because some people have already made it so you can play Skyrim.
Yeah,
And
there's
Yeah.
mods.
it's pretty
For
amazing
a lot of games.
being in the world
There's
like
a
that.
TF2 mod I saw.
Half-Life 2 has gotten support now, or at least
Yeah.
beta support.
So
I don't know if it's gotten...
I didn't even think of that, but I would really like to see what they're going to do with that. Hopefully something.
It's definitely one of those games you'd play flight simulators with.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
just
playing,
look
like,
around.
or
The
Rising
Rift is
Storm.
basically...
Holy shit.
At the worst, the Rift will be what the Wii was in the beginning, where it was this like cool, like wow, you can play bowling and tennis, and you can actually play it. You know, it was cool, but the Rift has a lot more
Potential, for sure.
potential. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and also because it actually connects to a PC, and it
Yeah.
it will get new games either way, and if official support doesn't come along, which I refuse to believe that no official support is going to come along, because when you saw the Kickstarter, all these people, they're all like, wow, we love this thing. Virtual reality has always been this sort of, from the 80s
It's just never
on,
worked.
but it's always been this kind of like, wow, it's so cool. But then you like the Virtual Boy and these arcades that had it. It was never,
Yeah.
it was never really
Virtual Boy.
good. It was like wireframe games, and it was just
Red and black.
The head tracking. Well, I mean, there are other ones you can get even now. I think Sony offers one. It's very expensive, but it's just not that good.
But
From what I've
that's
heard,
the
it's just
problem.
not good.
There were things before, like in arcades and stuff, these huge machines
never
that you could
worked
go
right.
into. Yeah, and they never worked that good, and they were expensive as shit. And this new Oculus Rift sort of gives
How much is it?
every
Do you know how much it is?
I'll Google it. I guess.
I think it's like $500, which is, hey, I mean,
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
reasonable
it will go down in
price
price, but
noise.
think about it. An iPhone, why do you need a new
Sure.
iPhone? You have iPhone 4, do you need the fifth one? You know,
Yeah.
just skip that one, get the sixth one, which comes out 2 years later or 1 year later, and get this thing instead, you know? It's like, you say it's expensive, but there's always things that you spend money on anyway, so...
Yeah. I mean, if
And it's
if
going
they
to get
got it
cheaper
working,
anyway over time.
yeah. Well, no, I'll probably wait until they come out with kind of the next.
Wow,
kind of
that's
version.
cheap. The Oculus development kit's only $300.
Oh man,
It's
yeah.
so
$300
cheap.
to me for something like
And
that.
it's also...
if it starts working great, that's.
I
worth
was
it.
expecting it to be like $600 to $800.
That's
But keep in mind, it's not a computer, so you have to actually have a computer to connect it with to begin with. So if you don't have that, then it gets kind of pricey.
oh yeah.
But it has a lot of potential, but they need to not slack off now. They need to get official support, not just to get modders
E3
to
is a
mod
good
it.
time to do it.
Yeah, and no, it is it's the perfect time, and if they don't do it at all, it might be their only chance, because I think it'll die off if they don't get, because they need to work on this hype.
I think they will have a booth or something at E3.
Something.
Yeah.
They
I'm
definitely
sure
Very
will.
excited. I didn't even think of it until I saw it, but yeah, that'd definitely be one of the top five things.
Space simulators, flight
I know, it's
simulators.
just- there's so many things they could do with it that are not able to happen right now. I mean, and just think about, I mean, even some games like I said, Rising Storm and that. I mean,
Oh my god.
that would be
Getting
crazy.
katanaed in oh my
Get the katana looking around left to right and just charging.
so cool.
Because they do have like this tracking pad you can walk
Yeah.
on, and then they have a gun you can
oh
actually.
god, yeah, I just
It-
immerse
it's-
myself. I'll never leave my room.
It's like as a good source of exercise, I guess, because you actually have to move to. It's like what
But
the
at the same
Kinect
time,
should have been.
I don't think multiplayer games will be sort of the main target.
Oh
for
no, it'd probably be
it won't be
single
competitive.
player.
It'll be fun, but after
Yeah.
playing for a few hours and you get over the shock of how cool it is, and you've died 3,000 times, it's like, okay, time to actually play the game now.
Maybe like flight simulator multiplayer games would definitely work. Like if you have a controller in your hand.
Yeah.
And you could control the plane with your controller and use your head to move around to like see people
to see
behind
everything.
you, and that would be very cool.
Yeah.
And if anything, at least it's a very good leaping off point for
Good start.
virtual reality, because always before they've all sucked, they've all been expensive. Now it's a good one that works. It's not that expensive. Everyone can basically get it. And it's a good leaping off point for future developments, evolution, sort of like you said, weapons that you can hold in your hand or anything if you want to sort of get the experience even more immersive.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, is there anything else you guys want to?
Valve?
Closing?
Is anyone expecting anything from Valve?
Yeah, that's...
Gabe Newell walks out. Half-Life 3 for everybody!
Yeah, everybody's masturbating.
The mysterious thing
I don't...
Who knows?
Yeah, because, like, I mean...
They're even working on their own virtual reality thing.
They are?
Yeah.
Yep.
I did not know that.
They were working on something that nobody knows what it is. So.
Yeah. Half-Life 3.
They are making the next Source engine. I do know that.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, of course. But they need to they can't release, like, Half-Life 3, for example. They could never release that on the Source engine.
Oh, not today. No, not today.
No.
So I kind of don't blame them for announcing Half-Life 3
they got
at this
a lot
moment.
on their plate, for sure. I mean, Dota 2 is crazy.
With all the money they make from Steam, they have no problem with developing a new engine and going above and beyond.
It's like it's kind of hard to talk about Valve and being excited without sounding like a blind fanboy or something. But it's just, anything that Valve touch becomes gold. You can say, but I mean, I'm not a fan of MOBA games. I don't play Dota, but I mean, and I don't play Team Fortress 2 either. But it's like they always have something up their sleeve. Like if you look at their other games, other than Half-Life, they have Left 4 Dead and Portal, and games that really break new ground. I mean, zombie games have always sort of been there, but I feel like Left 4 Dead 1, when it came out, the whole co-op B-movie feel of it was something very new. And despite all the rage when they announced Left 4 Dead 2, I think Left 4 Dead 2 was a pretty good sequel. With all the melee weapons and the new zombies and versus mode and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So and Portal 2 as well, an amazingly enjoyable single player and a co-op campaign that was a little too easy maybe, but still pretty fun.
Yeah.
So and I don't think they're necessarily going to be doing a sequel to any of those now. I think they might be showing something new if they're showing anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
Ricochet 2.
Yeah. I hope they anything, but I like Valve games. I think I can say this.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with Valve.
They just do things that us gamers like.
Yep.
I mean, every time.
And they actually do listen to the gamers. Like when the outrage over the Left 4 Dead 2 announcement came, because people were angry because they felt it kind of...
It was rushed. It was a year after it came out.
Yeah, it came too early and stuff like that, and people were so angry and boycott Left 4 Dead 2 and stuff like that. But they responded to that. They responded to that. They said, Left 4 Dead 1 will still be getting support. Don't worry, and it did.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
Got
and they
DLC after.
And they were all free.
Yeah.
It cost a dime. So I think that's one of the things I love most about Valve. It's not just that their games are good, but that I feel like I can trust them. And if they do a mistake and everybody gets pissed at them, they will fix that.
They'll do
if they
something.
start with microtransactions in regular games, in full price games, and people get pissed off, they will say, you know what, okay, we're gonna make up for this somehow.
Yeah, definitely. But is there anything closing you guys want to talk about? Last minute E3 stuff? Or
I'm excited. I think it's going to be kind of refreshing.
It's going to definitely. It's
so,
all new stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I'm excited for it, and I'm ready to go.
I'm excited for the games, but especially Xbox's conference is going to be fun to watch. But I don't have high hopes for it. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my expectations low, and hopefully they blow my mind.
Yeah, I saw a comment in N4G I was reading, and it's like Microsoft signed a deal with Activision for $2.5 billion to get dogs, and the Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that must be the new internet thing, is just dogs. Because in their video, they're like, the newest adaptation to your squad is
already been done.
A dog. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I love the way he said it too, as if he was mocking the project himself. He's like, one of the new amazing blah 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 is a dog. It's like, it was just
is
so
a dog?
like,
oh.
it's like everyone went like, huh? And it's almost like he wanted you to do that.
I could picture them at their PR meetings, and they're like, "Okay, guys, we're making a new Call of Duty. What's the breaking new features of this Call of Duty?
And he's looking down. He's like,
we have a dog.
It's a dog, guys. I know. Sorry." But I can imagine, like, at E3, they come out and, like, you thought the dog was actually, well, we were all just trolling you, really.
It's a goldfish with with amazing AI.
Great AI.
And you just know that it's going to be as scripted as everything else. Like, you have this enemy soldier. You open this door and he knocks you out. You land on the ground. You look up. He's about to shoot you, and the dog comes in through the window. It's like biting him. It's like, yeah, good job.
And then the dog dies halfway through, and then everyone hates it.
And they get another dog, and he dies, and it keeps going.
It's a never-ending cycle. But no, no, seriously, with all Call of Duty's track history, you know they're going to kill that dog. That dog is going to die.
I don't know if they will, actually.
But they may pull it.
They kill everyone, but I don't know if they will. Maybe that's going to be the big secret. Like, the dog does
You'll
die.
kill plenty of them when they're a kill streak. That's coming after you.
Multiplayer. Those don't mind.
But remember, guys, Call of Duty will have leaning, so yay!
I know.
Revolutionary. You can lean left and you can lean right, so it's gonna be cool.
You can jump over cover now.
Yeah. I love that. You make a game. For the next game, you take out half of it, you put in something else. Next game, you take out that half, you put in the old stuff. Oh, it's a brand new game. It's
definitely. Yeah. They're running out of ideas. During the press conference, he was like, "We could have made Modern Warfare 4, but we were like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to just make Modern Warfare 4
with a different name
with dogs and masks."
and leaning, and also amazing looking hands, which are even more beautiful for their time.
You can see the dirt underneath his fingernail.
Yeah.
Well, at least then that means the game will be good. So
I wonder because the PC version had DirectX 11 support, and it looked a hell of a lot better than the console version. So maybe it will look good on PC.
Doesn't at the end of the day? It doesn't matter.
In all fairness, I love hating. I love hating on Call of Duty because why not?
It's just one of those things that is just recycled.
Very easy.
Yeah, but to their credit, even though the engine is old as shit and the technology is bad and they barely have ragdoll physics, it still looks okay. The games still they look like games with people in them, and it's not high resolution or anything, but it's like the people look like people. Animations are kind of stiff, but they're okay. I mean, even though you have to admit that for an engine that old, it's amazing that they can
still
keep it alive and keep
Sure.
How is that a compliment?
I don't know why they just don't scrap it and just say, "Hey, we're starting a new engine. We got like $65 billion trillion from these 14-year-olds buying our game."
Because it's basically the Quake 4 engine they're using now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's
that's the thing about some of these big games that just I loved Call of Duty 4. I just fucking loved it, but. Yeah, it's just been done over and over, and some people want that. They just want that same game, so that's why they make it over and over again. And then
it's safe to buy
people like me, I can still buy Battlefield, another Battlefield, but guess what? I still have Rising Storm, and there's other games out there, so they just need to refresh that series a little bit, and it's very risky for them to do so.
Yep.
Hopefully EA on E3 will prove that they're not gonna be just making Call of Duty competitors, because now we have Battlefield 3. It's a different game than Call of Duty, but you can see that they're competing with Call of Duty. And Crysis, is basically Call of Duty now with just less popular multiplayer and some other features, and the Medal of Honor series, which just got scrapped because there's no need for it. So they had three different franchises.
I don't know.
I just didn't even. I want
of the last Medal of Honor. I think it was atrocious. I think it was more offensive than the Call of Duty games to me. The Call of Duty games, they're kind of dumb. You kind of feel like you're just being,
it's a summer blockbuster
game. Yeah, it's a summer blockbuster.
It's Michael Bay, the game.
Yeah, but Medal of Honor was like, it tried to be Call of Duty all the time. It's like, look, we can almost do this, but it was like almost Call of Duty all the way. So it's like,
that's the
it was
thing.
so frustrating, and it felt like you're supposed to be the special forces, and you just felt like any other Hollywood superhero.
Blockbuster, yeah.
That's the thing that EA needs. Well, not just EA, but like a lot of these companies, they always try to chase after like World of Warcraft or Call of Duty and all that. But really, there's a lot of money to be made in the other ways of doing
creativity and just doing something on your own. And
probably
Patrick,
lose more money the other way.
Yeah, Patrick Bach, from DICE, he said before Battlefield 3 came out, a very smart quote, at least it was then, that you don't beat Call of Duty by making Call of Duty. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I agree, but at the same time, Battlefield 3 was very, especially the single player and that stuff, there was too much Call of Duty in it. So hopefully just make Battlefield Battlefield. Now you're going to include the commander and stuff like that. Yep.
Back and a lot of things. I think they're going to start doing their thing again.
And that's what I hope. Instead of having Battlefield Crisis and Medal of Honor, they're not making Medal of Honor anymore for now. But at least instead of just having those in addition to Respawn making Call of Duty games, let Respawn focus on making let
them do their thing.
Call of Duty games. Or even better, just make something that Call of Duty will then strive to be instead.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully somebody at EA said, look, these are the guys who made it all happen. These are the ones who came up with a brilliant idea, and now that's all we hear about.
Yeah, let them do their job and let DICE make Battlefield. Stop bogging them down with the dumb single player. I mean, Bad Company 1 and 2 had actually great campaigns because they didn't take themselves seriously.
They were funny.
Yes, they were.
Very
they weren't
humorous.
always perfect, but they were. You had vehicles that you could drive, and the sort of relationship between the characters was refreshing. Sort of how they kind of made fun of modern gaming tropes, but the Battlefield 3 was just
terrible.
It was everything was scripted, and they showed like the hotel falling down and the earthquake. It's like, oh, it's amazing, but it's like it's all scripted. Call of Duty has to do. It's like it's not cool if it's not you do it, and it's because of your actions. It's just something that happens, and you're forced to look in that direction. We have this thing happening. It's So I hope Battlefield 4 will be Battlefield 4.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But I guess that's it. Any closing thoughts you guys have, or
that's it?
That's really it.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for several of the games. Again, Microsoft, Sony, especially Sony. I'm looking forward to what they're going to say. Especially they probably paid attention when Microsoft flunked out. So I'm interested in seeing that stuff, and I'm also interested in seeing Xbox One for the entertainment of it.
Sure.
All right. Well, we are definitely excited, but as always, I'm CatAttack123.
Dead Merc.
And MrJenssen.
And we are from pixeljudge.com, and have a good day.